Hey guys, I just thought you all would enjoy seeing the really pretty sunset and clouds that are here in Kentucky tonight. And there's so many deep, rich colors, and the Lord shows us the beautiful. And I was just sitting here thinking about Sister Sherry, and I know she had a really hard day, and a lot of things that are really the events that change our lives, and a lot of times, even through pain, make our ministry and our walk with Christ and our relationship with Him deeper. And it's the things that He shows us sometimes to bring encouragement at these times when we feel alone, or when we feel persecuted, and when we are and attacked and things. Then He shows us things like this, and I really think that's what the rainbow was about, even just a couple of days ago, that Sherry saw, because the Lord knew that she would need to think on the beautiful and have a picture in her mind of the promises, and this is what I think this is too. It's a picture of something beautiful, that even though we know that these days are dark, and that many things come against us, what does the Lord say? He said that, remember, when they hate you, they hated me first. And the servant's no greater than the master. And in this world you will have trouble and persecution, tribulation, and these things. But be of good cheer, I've overcome the world. And it is it's a strength, and the joy of the Lord is our strength, and it's hard to see through pain and tears sometimes, and then He shows us something like this, and we can encourage each other and say, look guys, I saw the most beautiful sunset, and I thought about you. And I thought about that rainbow you shared with me just a couple days ago when I was really sad. And there were times over the weekend I thought, goodness, I'm just not going to give the devil any more glory, because I know that it's not really people. It's not really flesh and blood. It's the Spirit that animates people. It's what's inside the heart, that the mouth can't help but speak out, because the abundance of either hate or love will flow out. And it's not to say anybody can't have a bad day, but if somebody consistently is doing that, there's nothing in the Bible that says that you're supposed to expose or rebuke a brother and sister to the point of tearing them down over every basically trial that they went through in their life, or every maybe sin that they came through, and then just make up the rest, because that's in essence what's going on. And it's false accusations, and even if some of it is true, it's just like what I said the other day. I don't have to see a flow chart of somebody's sins. I know that we are all sinners. I know that, and we're saved by grace. And when somebody sits there and says, oh, well, I haven't sinned in years, it says that if they say that they haven't sinned, that the truth is not in them. Jesus came to fulfill the law, and He finished it on the cross, and basically condemned sin in the flesh, but He didn't condemn sinners. He saved us and gave us life eternal, and that's the promise that we have. So I'm going to think on the beautiful. And tonight, just for tonight, maybe drink in the love and the beautiful colors of this sunset. And Sherry and all my sisters out there, and my brothers too, who have been persecuted, just continue to contend for the gospel and the true message of, we claim to know nothing but Christ and Him crucified, right? Christ's death, burial, and resurrection, and we died with Him to walk in new life, and that's what it's all about. And He gave us His Holy Spirit, and we are His sheep. And He knows us and calls us by name, and we speak with Him, and He speaks with us through many ways. And I was just thinking about a song today that the Lord gave me a couple of years ago, and it was so cool. It was just, sometimes He speaks to us in ways that, maybe a lot of people in the world don't understand. There's been several times that I've gotten a song, just maybe the lyrics of the song would speak to me. And the song that he gave me, and this was a couple of years ago, and it was by Andy Gibb. And, I used to like the Bee Gees back in the day, guys. And I mean, because their voices were so cool. I mean, well, you can tell by the way I use my walk. I mean, that was cool. I mean, I was like 12 years old, I think, when Saturday Night Fever came out. And I just thought, wow, well, that's some singing now, you know. And of course, I was young and had little stars in my eyes and things. And, the world was all new and, to us. And, and some things were good and some things were bad. But, it's just like, Jesus finds us where we are, right? And I was saved back in 1977. I was 12 years old. And, my heart for the Lord is stronger all the time. And I thought it was so much at that time that I thought that it would burst. I remember seeing the beautiful sunlight come through the columns in an outdoor atrium where I was on a retreat. And I just knew that I knew that Jesus was the Lord of my life. And it's just the way it is, guys. That's the way it is. Jesus is God. Jesus is Lord. And from then on, we can, if we love God with all our heart, mind, body, and soul, we'll love each other more as time goes on even. And if we do have to come to someone and correct them in love, it won't be a rebuke to the point of where it tears them down and condemns them to the point of where the things that make them the most sad or feel the worst about, life when they look back over it and the trials that they've been through and the things that they've come through and, that someone would rather speak death than life and that someone would rather speak curses than blessings. That's their ministry, guys. And it's hard to admit. It's really hard to say, well, but there are people who are demon possessed among us. And I think that this very well could be the case. And if it's not, and there's still, that the Lord is working with this person, well, then sometimes it's darkest before the dawn. So, let us walk in shalom, love each other the best we can. Oh, and that song, you guys, by Andy Gibb, it was Everlasting Love. That's what it was. And I got off subject, y'all. And it was like, and it went, I've got an everlasting love, so tall, so wide, so high above, and it's you on an everlasting dream, can take us anywhere. And I mean, it's just so beautiful. So you guys just go ahead and I'll let you Google that. But the part that really got me is like in the first verse, it says, I've always been there all along watching your crying game, and, I was the sun, but he was your moon and your rain, or something like that. And then in the second verse, it says, you were mine before the stars were born, and I was yours. And it's just like a love story, between, us and Jesus, that he is our first love. And through him, we learn to love in every relationship that we have, like to be the best coworker we can be and the best maybe cousin or brother, sister, mother, friend, someone in the church, that's your friend, all of these things. It's the ties that bind. May the circle be unbroken, right, guys? And so I hope that someone can feel me on this tonight. And I hope you enjoy this, Sister Sherry. And I love you. And you've touched many people and helped them. And you've done your calling. If the trumpets blew tonight, you really have. Just thought I'd let you know that. We hear all the bad things, and let's hear the good, and uplift each other and exhort each other, and encourage each other as we see the day approaching, and surely this is what the last days look like. So I love you guys, and good night from Kentucky.